Hell yes, we are doing yob! Fucking raw heart, boys. Raw heart. Now this is the 8th album by this band whose name sounds like a fucking Goblin Lieutenant, and the first I've listened to. Thankfully though, this isn't produced by Goblin Lieutenants at all, but Homo sapiens. Woo! And if the album title is anything to go by, there is rawness rung throughout this record with doom, sludge, and post-metal styled instrumentals, with the guitars a particular highlight for their tonalities. But it's not just those gritty and begrimed leads that serve as a melodic focal point, as Shide's vocals here have a soul to their inflection that couldn't be more complimentary of the band's sound. This is of course due to his diverticulitis surgery, which made it difficult for him to even wrench his diaphragm for notes and also, you know, live. Yet the alternative he reached on this record feels very convincing in how it is bent by pain and mortality. It truly is quite lovely, boys. It's brilliant. And audibly in of themselves, some interesting melodies are reached throughout, despite the majority of the vocal lines here having the potential to just be a swashing smorgasbord of crooning. A song like Lungs Reach stands out for that very reason, in how his wretched, tortured groans are matched to this furnace-bent funeral doom metal tempo that bleeds distortion all the while, with the pairing here remaining holistic and potent, like a bowl filled with hydrochloric acid. The self-titled track similarly is a highlight for just how much aching and hurt he is able to propel through his broken body, and the emotion here does feel real and visceral. And the way the instrumental breakdown here towards the end devolves into more vibrant and layered terrain with this bright, sharp guitar tone that sounds straight out of an Acid Mother's Temple record. I mean, nah man, that's just fucking compositionally perfect, and ends the record on the highest echelon the band's sound has the potential of reaching. Given that there is so much pain at the belly of this record, it gives this album a throttling, emotive feel that is otherwise lost in a sound and tempo more prone to lulling and enveloping you, which crucially makes it a much more involved experience than many of their other counterparts in this genre. This is also quite important given how long the album is at 73 minutes, a kind of runtime that begs for more than just sheer immersion in grooves. As I was alluding to before, the guitars just sound fantastic. That shouldn't be a surprise given the genre tags this album is shouldered in with. This is no more apparent than the stagnating, distorted, thick stop-start palm muted groove to the second song, The Screen, and I do say stagnating, and that is because it is a little overwrought and a little tiresome, especially given how flat it sounds compared to, say, a band like Gojira, and more especially how they stubbornly drag out that passage and refuse to break away from it. But nonetheless, this song provides a necessary contrast to the opener for the darker terrain explored, and the chorus itself, and how the fucking instrumental transitions into that chorus. It's just so smooth and resounding. And I do love how deliberate the transitional movement feels and how it pours over you like a storm front swooping in. Without exception, it is smooth, with each riff here burning like a log before others are gently reworked into the bed of embers. Now, somewhat interestingly, this album here is produced by the band itself, and I would say as a general rule they succeed, as the cymbal hits do feel crisp and audible, the bass ever present, his vocals not overpowering, and the guitars rich. I suppose you could argue, however, on a song like Original Face, his vocals are a little too buried, and that's entirely understandable given, you know, the reasons already stated. Some other compositional highlights on this album might include the entirety of Beauty and Falling Leaves, a 16-minute epic which feels like an ode to living and not wanting to ever let go. It makes my skin stand on end, especially some of Scheit's lines, like holy fuck man. It's immense, the longing and suffering, it really is, to me anyway, and it progresses in all of the ways that I want their songs to, with a kind of natural unfurling, like, well, you know, leaves falling. I just love the layering, I love the attention to detail, I love the transitional movement, I love how it flows. Everything about this song is fucking perfect, if not a little long. Also, I do like the very beginning of In Reverie. It's very effective in how Aaron Rieseberg rumbles with that bass before the insertion of all of the other elements, essentially sounding like a brick wall hitting you in the head, but, you know, in the best way possible. Unfortunately, however, most of the album doesn't share that impact or sheer engagement engagement, as a lot of the instrumentals and some vocal passages go in one ear and go out the next if you're not paying close attention. That's not to say any of it sounds bad, and I can't blame Mike Scheid, the vocalist and guitarist, at all given his situation, especially since his performances are very emotive, generally speaking, when you do hone in on his delivery. I just think that a lot of songs here beg for a couple more expansive climaxes with instrumental breakdowns, variations, or even solos in a less amount of time, as they spread some of these songs thin with their lengths. For that reason, I can resonate with the criticism of this being a fairly typical, boring sludge metal record, but to me it still sounds delectably fucking hazy and sluggish and effective for what it sets out to do. Every song is consistent and tight to no avail, and Scheid's vocals really do grow on you past being some Mastodon or Neurosis-esque emulation. And because there is so many different layers and movements in one song, there's always something to unpack here as well, even a dozen listens in. And let me tell you, if Mastodon released an album like this with this kind of a context, then yeah, nah mate, we'd be pissing our pants. And yeah, I don't know, the more I listened to this record, the more it grew on me, which just again speaks to the sheer attention to detail, the layering, the mastery over the individual elements, more specifically the instrumental ones, obviously. But yeah, I don't know, I'll fucking just give this a solid 4 out of 5. Pretty fucking great, solid sludge, stoner, metal, fucking whatever record, boys. Really appreciated. Fucking lovely stuff. Yeah, no worries. Alright, man, that is the fucking review. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, it helps me out a lot, and comment for feedback or fucking whatever, and subscribe if you're new, and fucking whatever, boys. I'll just catch you later. Just have a good one. It's that simple. Woo!